Improving and then maintaining our own sense of self-respect is a really important part of any recovery lifestyle, and it also plays a significant role in the development of living the life we want to live. Respect is one of the 5 core values that we carry with us throughout the length of our lives, and if we're not living a values-based life grounded in our own set of authentic core beliefs, effectively setting appropriate boundaries with both ourselves and other people, we're not following the guidelines associated with the fundamental principles of dialectical behaviour therapy. Compromising the goal of living the life we want to live will usually lead to feelings of guilt and shame that just fester under the surface, and if we know anything about these uncomfortable and challenging emotional experiences, they often create a desire to escape through the practice of instant gratification. In the DBT skills training program, we learn to maintain our sense of self-respect when dealing with interpersonal relationships through the use of a skill called FAST. The FAST skill is all about effectively maintaining our self-respect. It revolves around the central question, how do I want to think and feel about myself after this interaction is over? Effectively applying our behavioural beliefs regarding the value of respect for ourselves is a fundamental principle of the DBT interpersonal effectiveness skill set. Its teachings try to guide us towards acting in a manner that maintains or increases our sense of self-respect during and after any interpersonal connection. At the same time, dialectically speaking, the skill supports us in trying to get what we want from our interpersonal relationships too. If building and maintaining our self-respect is the primary objective, the focus is on how to ask for what we want or how to say no to a request in such a way that we still respect ourselves afterwards, along with respecting the other person's wants and needs at the same time. As I said before, maintaining our self-respect is all about maintaining a good relationship with our own values and beliefs. If we struggle with this aspect of living the life we want to live, then it might be worth asking ourselves some simple questions to take stock of where we're currently at. For example, do I stand up for my own values or the values of those that I want in my life? Do I find myself putting on some kind of tough attitude in an attempt to avoid humiliating myself? But at the same time, dialectically speaking, I find that I lose my sense of self-respect because I'm acting in a way that's really not a good representation of who I actually am. Do I lie or do I tell the truth? Do I act competent or do I act incompetent? Remember, effectively maintaining our own sense of self-respect by living according to our authentic core values and beliefs is needed in every interpersonal interaction. The common problem that many of us experience when participating in any dialectical behavior therapy skills training program is the tendency to fall into black and white or all or nothing thinking. On the one hand, we don't consider how to keep our own sense of self-respect intact in a balanced and effective way at all. This usually means that we're living according to the beliefs associated with the schema of self-sacrifice. Then on the other hand, we can become hyper-focused on maintaining our sense of self-respect, taking it to the extremes that get associated with a schema of unrelenting standards. The goal here, as with all of the work that's done in any DBT skills training program, is to create balance. To achieve these goals effectively, dialectical behavior therapy suggests developing your use of the skill that's known as FAST. As with many of the previous DBT skills, FAST serves the purpose of reminding you which actions to take by utilizing each letter of the word. In this case, FAST stands for the following things. Hopefully by now you're starting to pick up on the fact that maintaining your self-respect in an effective way primarily involves living a values-based life, which in turn, dialectically speaking, is linked to living the life we want to live. Let's spend some time going over the implementation of each letter of this skill so that you can get to know them in a little bit more detail. The first part of the FAST skill is to be fair to yourself and to the other person in any attempt that you're making to get what you want. If you're someone who's trying to live the values-based life, which is an essential and fundamental principle of all the programming we do at the Liberation Place, then you're going to know that it's really hard to actually kind of like yourself over the long haul if you're constantly compromising your true core values by taking advantage of other people. This usually leads to guilt and shame, and it's really not an effective place for us to be. The second part of the FAST skill is one that, if taken at face value, can often be completely misinterpreted. In fact, I've heard people who've completed a DBT skills training program make statements like, well, the FAST skill told me to never apologize, so I'm not saying sorry at all. Obviously, that's not the intention of this skill, as that would defeat the purpose of living a values-based life. The more effective interpretation of this part of the skill is to work on your tendency to over-apologize. When apologies are warranted, of course they're appropriate, and it's the first step in making amends. But many people who deal with the activation of certain schemas in their system often find themselves apologizing for things that they don't really need to. Things like making a request, or having an opinion about something, or disrespecting somebody else's point of view, or even simply for being alive. The third part of the FAST skill is to stick to your own values. Everything we talk about at the Liberation Place revolves around living a values-based life. So knowing your true core values, as we discussed earlier on in any of the programming that you've done, is an essential part of practicing your goal of living the life you want to live. Whenever you're involved in an interpersonal interaction, it's important to avoid selling out your values just to achieve your objective, particularly if this objective is to keep a person liking you. When sitting with decisions around the actions you want to take, be clear on what, in your opinion, is the moral or valued way of thinking and acting, and hold on to your position. Completing a pros and cons exercise with your values in mind can be an effective way to support you in your decision-making process if you're someone who's kind of sitting on the fence about what it is that you want to do. The final part of the FAST skill is to remain truthful. Honesty is another one of the core values that many people carry. So wherever possible, don't lie. Don't act helpless when you're not, or exaggerate how things are for you just to get what you want. Living a life that has a pattern of dishonesty will eventually, over time, erode your sense of self-respect. Yeah, it's true that one instance of dishonest behavior may not compromise your values. It may even be the case that it's occasionally a necessary thing to do. However, if acting dishonestly is your usual mode of behavior that's designed to get you what you want, it's going to be harmful for your system over the length of your life. At the bottom of the website page that's connected to this video, you're going to find a worksheet to help you develop your ability to use this skill. I'll leave some links in the description below. If it's possible for you to do so, download and complete it for a specific situation that you're either anticipating in the future, or one that keeps repeating itself over and over again in your life. Then use it in conjunction with your mindful imagery work and the DBT emotion regulation skill called Planning Ahead to Build Mastery to rehearse these interactions over and over again. This is how we learn to use these skills automatically when we need them. If we don't rehearse them and practice the use of them by creating emotional situations in our imagery work so we can get used to using them in emotionally activating situations, these skills will not be there when we actually need them. If you have a pushback against doing this type of work, it's an opportunity to sit with the story that's in your system. Learn what part of you is activated by doing these types of things. Then use the skills to figure out how to remove this rigid point of view, a particular perspective that's probably keeping you stuck in many different areas of your life. If you want to share your opinion on this or anything else to do with the integration of DBT and schema therapy, please leave a comment in the chat. I'd love to hear your point of view. If you want to know more, come join the live online meetings that I facilitate each week on Zoom. I'll leave some links to those groups in the description below. And as always, if you like the content of this video, please subscribe to the channel, smash that like button, and turn on those notifications to get all the latest from me and the Liberation Place. I hope this video gave you some ideas on how the DBT interpersonal effectiveness skill called FAST can help you to maintain your own sense of self-respect in building your interpersonal relationships. Thanks for watching. See you again soon. Take care, be safe, and be well.